All right, so today it's a big day because it's time for 2022 yearly favorites. So these are all of my beauty favorites in the makeup, fragrance, and hair categories. I'm not doing skincare in this video because I'm gonna do a whole updated skincare routine video coming soon. So I do these videos every year. I still stand behind all of the products I've mentioned in past videos. To make it into this video, you gotta be a good one. Little note here, in order to make this video happen, like in order to have it be able to go out into the universe, I had to film this right now while I'm currently in Ireland. When you're seeing this, I've already been in Ireland, Seattle, and I'm currently in San Diego. So what that means is I physically have a lot of the products here, and I'm going to be showing you the ones that I do have, but the other ones I'll have to pop in a picture, and if I have any footage applying them, I am going to put that in, and that's because I can't physically carry all the products I'm talking about with me as I'm traveling. So I switch out my products every few months. So the products that I am mentioning to make it into a yearly favorites video, these are all always thoroughly tested. I just might not physically currently have them with me on this leg of my trip. But like always, everything is listed down below in the description box. Also, this was the first year where I looked back at my video last year and I was like, oh my God, this feels like it was 3 years ago. Normally I look back and it's like the year flew by. I think just because I have done so much in the last 12 months. A weird time moment because I can't believe that was a year ago. Hope you guys enjoy this video and find it helpful. If you do while you're watching, you can give it a thumbs up. And thank you so much if you're someone who's stuck with me another year, or if you're new here. Actually, comment down below if you found my channel in the last year. And if you did, let me know down below how you found my channel. Let's get into it. Longest intro ever. Sorry about that. I'm gonna have to keep checking my teeth today because I love this color, one of my favorites, but it is a transfer because it's more of like a velvet formula. It's not totally matte. It's the AOA Velvet Lips in the shade Sabrina. Oh, perfect tone, but you gotta pat off the inside. Okay, here we go. Starting off with a sponge that has changed the game for me, and I know that sounds dramatic to say about a makeup sponge, but these are very affordable. You can get two for, I've seen them go down to $5 on Amazon. My makeup sponge. I'm not showing you the dirty side right now. Okay, I have to, I realized. So the thing about this sponge that I love is there's one flat side. So you have the round edge, you can use the round bottom if you like that. It points at the top, and then you have a flat side. And for me, I just get the best makeup application when I use a sponge with a flat side, but this one has the perfect amount of density, but still soft. This is not wet. Another thing I love is I can use this sponge wet or dry. So today I use this completely dry. So I applied this on top of another product that I'm about to talk about. This is not a yearly favorites. I just put it on today, but it's the Urban Decay Hydromaniac. But I applied this with my dry sponge. I just think this is all around the perfect makeup sponge. I haven't found one better. So many of you guys have ended up purchasing this and say it's also now your holy grail sponge, so that makes me happy. Let me know down below, by the way, as you're watching this, if any of these products you purchased off of my recommendations and what you thought of them, whether they worked or didn't work for you. Like I always say, everyone's skin is different, everyone has different makeup preferences, so these are obviously my favorites. I hope, as always, that all of my recommendations work out for you, but especially with like face products, foundations, tinted moisturizers, that kind of thing, concealers, everyone's skin is just so different. You guys, words today, woo! Yikes. Okay, so this next favorite, I have to say, I did more recently discover this. I usually don't include favorites in yearly favorites that close to the end of the year, if that makes sense. I have not put it down since I discovered it. Literally use it every time I do my makeup now, and it has replaced for me the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, which is also way more expensive, but it's the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter Glow Booster. So this is what I have on my face today underneath that foundation you just saw me applying. If you like glowy skin, you need this in your life. This was basically created as like a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury, and the thing that sets it a notch above for me is just the perfect consistency for underneath foundation. It's slightly tackier than the Charlotte Tilbury, and if you're using a decent amount of this, it has light coverage. There are days when I feel like I don't even need to apply any foundation over top of this. I'll just go in with a little bit of a concealer that I'll talk about. Actually, in my Paris Shadow and Schmooze video, that's exactly what I did. I applied this with just a little bit of concealer, no foundation at all. So this one does have more coverage than the Charlotte Tilbury. When I have tanner on, the shade 2 works for me. Right now it's like almost faded off. If I don't have tanner on, the shade 2 is definitely too dark. For me, I don't use super glowy products over top of this because it's just going to be glow overboard. So you might want to go in with something that has more of a satin finish or matte finish on top of this. Speaking of primers, so the NYX Marshmallow Primer I used for a solid chunk of this year. I want to say for probably like 6 or 7 months. The reason why I love this primer is that it is a no fuss, wear under any kind of foundation primer, where it has like a smooth feel. It's not too drying, it's not too glowy. It's just a good neutral primer to put underneath foundation. For me, I usually only use primers where it's like very much of one thing, very blurring, very glowy, whatever. This is one that I do feel like does make a difference underneath my makeup, and that's just very neutral. So if you're looking for something that you can wear under literally anything, NYX Marshmallow Primer. It does have a scent. Yes, it does. That's all I have to say about that eyeshadow palette. So this one wins the category of eyeshadow for me because it was my most reached for, and one that now that I haven't had with me the last couple months because I wanted to test other eyeshadows, I miss it. Like I wish I packed it with me. It's the Wet n Wild Always Naked palette. It just has perfect everyday tones for me. If you have greenish eyes, there are some cool tones in there that just really make your eyes pop. The sun in Ireland right now is really going in and out. This palette is under $10. A lot of times you can find it on Amazon on sale for like $7, $8. There's one glitter shade in there that I don't love. Other than that, it's just a beautiful palette. I have 2 standout powders for the year. The one that I have on today is the Essence 16 Hour Cover and Last Powder Foundation in the shade Classic Vanilla 05. There are a couple powder foundations that I use as actual powder foundation, but for the most part, I just like to use them as like setting powders or underneath my eyes if there's ones that are fine enough, because then it adds coverage, it adds brightness. And this is a powder that I can use underneath my eyes, which I did today, and it just super softens my under eye area, and I can use it all over my face. I like using this either with a dense brush or with a fluffy brush like I did today, the Haley's Beauty powder brush, if I want more of just like a light dusting. The thing I love about this powder is that it really softens my skin. It doesn't look like a heavy powder, but it's not too matte. So if I want to soften my skin, but I still want there to be a glow like today, obviously my skin is still very glowy, this one just really melts into my skin. It softens everything up and adds like a little bit of a blur without mattifying. It's hard to find powders like this. Also, this one I would say has medium coverage. I don't think this is total full coverage. It's not as much coverage as the next powder I'll talk about. So the other powder that makes the cut is the e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation. This is one of those products that people either love or hate. Depends on your skin. For me, works incredible. On me, this looks like a matte blurring powder. My battery's dying. Hold on. Switcheroo. And my leg's asleep. It has full coverage. As far as for under the eyes, both work for me, but I do prefer the Essence one underneath my eyes. This one I would say is a little bit more finely milled than the e.l.f., but I love both. Just depends what look I'm going for. Both are affordable concealers. Okay, so I have 2 to mention that have been my go-tos. I still love the Haley's Beauty concealer that I mentioned in last year's favorites. I have that one with me. These 2 are new to me from the last year. I actually think this first one, the One Size concealer, I've been using for over a year now. Definitely my most used concealer of the year. This is full coverage, matte, and it self-sets. On me, I don't have to set this one. It just wears well throughout the day. I am almost out of mine, so I am going to be repurchasing it, and I'm going to be purchasing a different shade this time. But honestly, since this guy came into my life, it is all I've wanted to reach for. It's the Milk Makeup Fluid Concealer. I have the shade 11C, which is definitely my tanner shade, but like right now, like I said, I have a little bit on and it still can work for me, especially when I'm like brightening up my under eyes with the powder. This has more of a satin finish than the One Size. It has a creaminess to it, but where it's not too creamy. So for underneath the eyes, this one I can set with a powder or not set with a powder. I would say most often I have been setting it with a powder, and I just love the way the Essence powder looks with this. It just lays on your skin and melts in so beautifully. So I use it all over my face. Like I said, I have that video where I use this with this or as all over foundation, and it just wears super well throughout the day. Looks beautiful, looks like skin, but it's full coverage. Good mixing product as well. One of the best concealer formulas I have found so far. Let's talk foundation. So this year I did a top 5 foundations video. So I'm not gonna go too in depth about foundations here because I have a whole video sharing my top 5 foundations. But the one that I wanted to highlight that I feel like I got the most use out of foundations in general this year is the Makeup Forever foundation. This is one of the most long-lasting, long-wearing foundations I have found. I've worn this for full like travel days of 13, 14 hours. It just wears amazing throughout the day. It looks like pretty much the same, slightly dewier, but pretty much the same as when I first put it on in the morning. No creasing, which is rare for me with foundation. I get solid coverage out of it, depending on how you apply it, how much you use everything. For me, I get about medium to low full coverage. It's not like a completely opaque full coverage foundation. Satin finish, but the finish is easily adjustable. Like if you put on a glowy product underneath, it's gonna look more glowy, but you can also easily mattify it up. But if you have issues with your foundation staying on, this one is super long wearing, at least on my skin. If you want other foundation recommendations and different coverage and different finish options, check out that video. I also this year did a tinted moisturizer video more recently. Definitely the second half of this year, I pretty much solely wore tinted moisturizers for the most part. My most used tinted moisturizers, I have the travel size with me, but I went through a full bottle of the full size, is the Elastin Hydro Tint. This is a tinted SPF. I've talked in depth about this in different videos, so I'm gonna link those down below. Unfortunately, this comes in one shade because it's not marketed as a tinted moisturizer, but it has basically full coverage. So I really hope eventually they expand and create like a bunch of different shades with this exact product. It's amazing. Gives you this super plump, glowy skin look, but where it doesn't look like greasy glowy. By the way, you have to use Elastin with your fingers. If you get it, don't try it with a brush, don't try it with a sponge, or you can try it, but like for me, applying Elastin with your hands looks entirely different. Most often when I wear this, I get compliments on my skin like in real life, and it just looks like your skin, but enhanced. It's super pretty. Okay, next up we have a product that if it wasn't in a friggin' heavy glass jar, I would have this with me. It's the Revolution Line Fix Under Eye Primer. I have never come across a product like this that actually does what it's marketed to do. Basically, this is supposed to help like smooth and prep your under eyes for concealer. It just really friggin' smooths out your under eyes under there and like almost blurs it out. And concealer does go on over top differently. It does something. I understand why it was sold out for a long time. I actually can't wait to get back to San Diego where it's currently living and start using it again because I do miss it in my life. But if you have issues with your under eyes and creasing, it's not going to solve all your problems. If you have creases, you're going to crease. It's just how it is. I still crease, but it definitely does help, and it does just give you this like very smooth appearance under your eyes. This year was definitely the year of lip products for me. Oh my God, I was looking back at all of my Raves and Rejects videos from the year, and wow, I've tested so many lip products this year. I have fallen in love with a lot of lip products this year, and I have my shades down, I feel like, with the pinks. I'm into like the nudie pinks. It feels like there's something on my tooth right now. Okay, anyways. My most used lip liner. This was also a favorite last year. So this is a 2 in a row, which normally I don't include, but I have to because literally almost every lip product that I'm going to talk about I use with this liner. Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude Liner and Rare Beauty Worthy Liner are my top 2 everyday liners of all time. When I was in Croatia, I lost Worthy, and I have already ordered my replacement for when I land back in the US. That's how much I love it. So that one compared to this one is more pink. It's more of like a pinky everyday color. This one goes with literally everything. It's interesting because it's definitely more of a like neutral leaning cool tone shade, but somehow on my lips, it goes with so many different things. It goes with like pure pink lip glosses. I love the formula of this because if you're someone who overlines, you don't want like a super creamy lip liner to do that. I always have this in my purse. Rare Beauty Worthy, those lip liners, that formula is very long lasting. I would say that one lasts better on my lips throughout the day. This one I do reapply. I mean, Rare Beauty I reapply too, but it does last super well. One of my go-to pinky glosses is AOA Full Lips Plumping Lip Gloss in the shade Light Pink. This is something that I've a few times now in real life when I have this on my lips, someone will like ask me what's on my lips. It does give this like just smoothing, plumping kind of look. It's not tingly or anything. It just more gives the look of plump lips. Smells like vanilla. This is between $1 and $2 from AOA. If you're someone who has a lot of lip lines and you want to just like smooth them out, this formula is beautiful. Also, it wouldn't be a 2022 favorites video without this. This is the Lawless Forget the Filler Gloss. This is in the rotation for everyday lip products. My 2 go-to shades are Daisy Pink and Cherry Vanilla. I love the applicator on this. It like hugs your lips. It's one of those that curves and just hugs your lips. It's so smooth. It does fill in the lines a bit and like give you that really smooth look. I recently did an Instagram reel where I talked about using this, the Essence Cranberry Lip Oil underneath this. These two together do something magical. Put this underneath and then put the Lawless gloss over top. Oh my God, winning combo. Lawless isn't my favorite scent, but once it's on my lips, I don't notice it. It does have like a cherry kind of scent. I have a few more lip products, but we're gonna take a lip break and go on to brows. So this is a product that I used up completely, and that since I've used it up, I'm like craving using it. So I did already repurchase it. This one kind of surprised me, honestly. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Brow Cheat Eyebrow Pencil. just totally escaped my brain. This has like that angle kind of triangle tip, which I normally do not like. The formula of this one though is not too creamy. It has a little bit of waxiness to it, which I like because it gives you more control. It's easy, it's quick, it just somehow requires, I feel like, less effort than other brow pencils. If you want to know what was on my brows for the last like basically 4 months, it's this pencil with the Lawless Brow Gel. This year, I've definitely gone lighter with my brows and thicker, and I don't know, you always think your brows look good in the moment, and then you look back, or like I look back on footage and I'm like, wow, my brows. But brows always go in trends, and I don't know, I've been enjoying like the bigger look. I think on my face shape it might be like more flattering, but who knows, I might hate them in the next year when I look back on this video. Ciate First Date. So I've always loved the Ciate blushes. This is the reformulated, repackaged one, but they've had this blush line for years, and I've talked about it for years. There used to be a shade, Summer, what was that shade? Summer something. But the reformulated version is even better in the shade First Date. It looks like it's gonna be almost like a purpley, but when it's on the face, it just looks so stunning. It gives you that glow from within look without being glittery. I do think the formula of this is different than the other one. The other one had more like shimmer in it. So if you like a glowy blush, but you felt like the other one was too shimmery, I think you might really like this. You have to like glowy blushes to get this though. Like, obviously, do not buy this if you like a matte blush, okay? Blends out easily. You can build it up if you use a fluffier brush, but if you use more of a dense brush like I used today applying it, it's just quicker to get that immediate color. But I just love how this lays on the skin, the shade, the formula, everything. These lip products I've had to like dig out of all of my different bags. Never actually used to be a person who carried lip products. Now it's like I always have a lip product in my bag, and it's usually these two or this with this. So the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip Plump in the shade Cherry Blossom. I ordered more shades of this during the Sephora sale. Smells so heavenly. It smells like coconut, but it's interesting because when it's on your lips, it's actually like minty. It's more of like a very tinted chapstick, but it's super cushy, super like plush and comfortable feeling, and it just gives you a ton of shine. Like, it gives you a lot of gloss. I love the way this feels on my lips, love the way it looks, love the color of Cherry Blossom. This is one where if I just want to like throw something on as I'm out, I can just do it without a mirror kind of thing. Looks so pretty and shiny. By the way, if you're not into the pinks, I'm also recommending like the formula of these, so you can just, you know, get the shade that you might like in these formulas that I'm talking about. House Labs lip oil, I've raved about I've raved about all of these obviously, but this is a standout lip oil to me. It has that huggy kind of applicator that I love, where it just like curves and hugs your lips. It tints your lips. The shade Tint is like a fuchsia kind of tint. This is a lip oil, but don't get turned off by the name if you're not someone who likes that like greasy, oily feel, because I usually do not, which is why I usually don't love lip oils. This one has more of like a gloss kind of feel to it, but it's super nourishing. I love the tint. If you've tried this, you know what I'm talking about. You can't really put into words like the formula of this. It's just unique. It doesn't feel greasy, and I just don't have any other product that I've found that is like this as far as the formula. Okay, those are the makeup standouts for the year. Let's move on to, should we do hair or fragrance first? I'm gonna do fragrance first because I just love talking about it. I have 4 standout fragrances, all of which I discovered in 2022. I think these are in like a similar scent profile, scent category, to where if you like one of these, like if you have or you already know you like one of these scents, I think you will like all 4 of these. All right, let's start off with a light body spray. Victoria's Secret Tease Cream Cloud. Victoria's Secret body sprays actually stay on better for me than their perfumes. Some people it's the opposite, but their body spray lasts really well on my body for whatever reason. I'm gonna put the notes for each one on the screen here. So number 2 perfume is Ariana Grande Cloud. I feel like this blew up this last year. Oh my God, I can like picture exactly how it smells right now. When I think of this perfume, it reminds me of the very beginning of like my last year when I was in New York for 2 months, because I used this basically every day when I was in New York. I met up with Arbor, my friend, and we were walking through Brooklyn, and he was like, "What are you wearing?" I keep getting whiffs, and it was that perfume. It is so good. 3rd perfume, the Al Haramain Amber Oud. Al Haramain Amber Oud perfume. This is good. If you like those ones I just talked about, but you want something that's more musky and like, to me this smells very like nighttime, musky, wintry, but I mean, I'm wearing it all year round. A lot of you were asking on the vlog where Jess and I were together. She made a comment that I like smelled good, and a lot of you in the comments were asking what I was wearing. It was this perfume. Similar notes of Ariana Grande Cloud, but muskier, a little more sophisticated. Last fragrance, I got to work with Mugler, which was like just very exciting. Highlight of my year. This is not sponsored by anyone. I just genuinely am obsessed with this fragrance, but this is the Alien Goddess perfume. I love the Alien perfume. That's like an all-time holy grail perfume, but Alien Goddess is like coconutty, vanilla-y. There's just something addicting about this fragrance. I still think this is good for year round, but this would be amazing for like a spring summer fragrance. Mugler perfumes always last really well on me, and this one stays on all day. Oh my God, I literally can't stop sniffing it. And also the bottle is just friggin' beautiful. Okay, hair products. I had to include hair products in this video because when I thought about standout products for me, this was like a year. For me, it was like lip products and hair, where I've just discovered a handful of hair products that I think are just game changers. Different price points, different products. Here we go on the hair. Starting off the IGK Expensive top coat. That's what it's called, expensive. So you can get this on sale. Like Ulta sometimes does half off on this, where you can get it for $15. Amazon will sometimes drop it down to $15. So I would say if you can, don't pay full price for this. You also might be able to find it on like TJ Maxx. But this, first of all, smells amazing. I love the scent of IGK products. They have some of the best smelling hair products. IGK and Eva NYC, their hair products are 10 out of 10 fragrances. I use this as like a leave-in conditioner. I see a noticeable difference in my hair when I'm using this versus when I'm not. The last few months, I have not been using this because I didn't bring it with me, and I miss it in my life. It gives me shine, conditions my hair super well. It is just so smooth, so silky, shiny. I just feel like it does make a difference. This does seem to be one of those products where it depends on your hair type. So my hair is like a little bit thicker, coarser, and for me, it just works incredible. After I wash my hair, I'll put in, and I have this with me in like a travel size, the Eva NYC 10-in-1 Made Magic Primer. This is a drugstore product, goes on sale a lot, smells incredible if you like the ambery kind of scents. And this you just spray in. It is a 10-in-1 detangler primer, smooths my hair, gives it shine. I can also use this on dry hair. Like if I just put a little bit in my hand and just rub it through, it does add some shine. Bedhead TG Smoothing Cream. Whoa, this is also one of those that, especially if you're wearing your hair straight, definitely makes a difference with frizz and smoothing. It usually goes on sale pretty well on Amazon or on Ulta. I think I've seen it go on sale, but Amazon usually you can get like the best price. Sometimes it drops down to like $15, $12. If you're someone who blow dries your hair, you need this next one. It's the Dream Color Wow Spray. I was skeptical because I just heard so many people rave about this and said it was like life-changing and all of these things, and they have all these big claims and whatever. It is heat activated, and it actually is like, so I would say like only really use this if you want to see a difference if you are using heat on your hair afterwards, like blow drying your hair. So you just spray it in damp hair, blow dry your hair. And if you're living in a humid climate or you just have a lot of frizz and again you want that like sleek, smooth look, this definitely works. Between this and the Bedhead TG, I would say the TG leaves my hair like softer and smoother. This one is more of like majorly helping with frizz and humidity. So you can do both together too. As far as curl products, for me the standout was the Bumble and Bumble curl line, specifically the curl defining gel. I do have this with me in like a travel size. Whether I'm going for like the really defined curl look, I'll insert photos here from this product. Or if I just want to use like a little bit, kind of scrunch my hair, but nothing crazy, and let it air dry, and then just add like a couple curls with a flat iron the next day. That's how I've been using this lately, but it really defines your curls. I also like their gel, but their gel does leave like a hard cast, which is fine. You can like scrunch it out with oil. Last category we're going to talk about. Also, why does it look like it's literally 6 p.m. outside? It is 1 o'clock. But last category are tanners. So this was also the year of tanners for me. I tried so many tanners because I've worn tanner pretty much the majority of the year. I go through phases. I mean, I went like, 6 years without like wearing tanner, I feel like, besides maybe a couple times in the summers. And I just think do whatever the heck makes you feel good. You know, I still fully embrace my pale skin. I love my pale skin, but there are times or like phases like this year where I just am really feeling being tan and I like it. But the Colastar tanner I discovered this summer when I was in Italy, and it has hands down been a favorite. I've talked about it a lot on YouTube and on Instagram because it is no fuss. It's a tinted gel self tanner where it's probably the easiest tanner where you can like put it on one day, put it on the next day if you want. If I'm going out and I want my legs to look like tanner immediately, it does have a tint to it. It doesn't transfer. I was wearing this in over 100-degree super humid weather in Italy in the summer, and I could put it on and then put my clothes on and wear like a white shirt, and it did not transfer off like the initial tint color. But also it is a tanner, so it is, you know, gonna like, you're gonna be tan the next day. For me, like it was enough color in one day, but also I preferred to just kind of like consistently, maybe like every few days, reapply it. And you can do that for a solid like week and a half without it getting crusty looking. After probably like a week and a half, I would like fully scrub my body and kind of like start over. But I loved that I could just kind of like layer this one. It's very no fuss. It dries super fast. It doesn't have that like sticky feel. It just dries. And in the US, you can get this on Amazon. Sometimes it gets like way jacked up in price, but right now, when I'm filming this at least, they do have it for around like $40. And in Italy, it's around like $25, but for the US pricing, that's like as good as you're gonna get it. But it also just gives my skin this like really pretty, kind of like smooth glow look. Love this with the Bilbao SPF over top again. I mean, this was like my favorite product discovery of summer. This, the Colostar with the SPF, I talked about a ton. Body glow perfection. It is an SPF. I can't find the link online. If you can find it in Europe, get it. It's like 10 euros and gives the prettiest body glow. So the next two tanners aren't new discoveries, but they're ones that I still like for this year recommend and use. So if you want a dark tanner, the Colostar is definitely more of a natural color. If you want a dark tanner, I would say still the Bondi Sands Aero is my number one for like a deep dark tan. But if you're someone who has fair skin or you want just like a very natural looking color and like a little bit lighter, the Naturina still also in my top 3. Don't listen to the instructions. You have to leave it on overnight. Beautiful, beautiful, super natural color. I would say out of all of the tanners, this has the most natural color. The Colostar is also natural, but this one is like even more of a olivey natural kind of tint. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. Again, everything is listed down below in the description box if you want to check any of it out. And I have all my last year's favorites videos down below. I really appreciate all of you who watch and take the time to comment. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.